Wages are flat, costs are up, politicians are on vacation. Sound familiar? If you're Canadian and that sentence resonates with you, you're not alone. In fact, you're part of a growing majority. Welcome to The Squeeze, a series dedicated to understanding why life in Canada feels, frankly, impossible. This is part 1, the pressure cooker. For years, we've heard about economic growth, about a strong Canadian economy. But for many Canadians, that growth has felt invisible where it matters the most, in your paycheck. We've seen data from Statistics Canada indicating that real wages in Canada have largely stagnated since 2019. What does that mean for you? It means the money you bring home after accounting for inflation buys you less than it used to. You're working just as hard, maybe even harder, but your purchasing power is shrinking, and that's a problem. Let's unpack that a bit. When we talk about real wages, we're talking about what your money can actually buy. And a report from TD Economics analyzing data right from Stats Canada highlights this stagnation. They noted how wage growth has been outpaced by inflation since 2019, meaning for many, paychecks just don't stretch as far as they used to. And speaking of inflation, while Statistics Canada reports on the overall consumer price index, that's a headline number you often hear, we need to talk about what's actually hitting your wallet. The cost of essentials is hitting incredibly hard. We're not talking about luxury goods here. We're talking about food, shelter, transportation, the things you absolutely need to survive. The data from StatsCan allows us to see this clearly. The inflation on these essential items is far outpacing headline CPI. You've seen it. You see it at the grocery store, at the gas pump, when your rent or your mortgage go up. And a 5% increase in your rent means a lot more to your budget than, say, a 2% decrease in the price of a new TV. It hits you where it hurts every single day. So with flat real wages and soaring essential costs, how are Canadians coping? A significant number of Canadians are using savings and, quite frankly, running on fumes. Both the Bank of Canada and the CMHC, Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, have highlighted this concerning trend. The CMHC, for instance, explicitly stated in a recent report that the financial reserves many households built up during the pandemic have now been exhausted, particularly for low and middle income households. People are using their savings just to make ends meet. This isn't about financial planning anymore. For many, it's about sheer survival. And the direct result of all of this pressure? There's a widely cited sentiment supported by various financial surveys and reports that a significant portion of Canadians are now living paycheck to paycheck. Food banks in Canada, in their Hunger in Canada report, even noted that more than 50% of Canadians are one paycheck away from needing to use a food bank. Think about that for a minute. Half of the country, whether they own their home or rent, are one unexpected expense away from a financial crisis. A car repair, a dental emergency, a sudden illness, or tariffs. Any of these can send a family spiraling deeper into trouble. This isn't just a statistic. It's the stark daily reality for millions of Canadians. This financial fragility is leading to incredibly painful choices. We are unfortunately seeing a very real and growing rise in food insecurity across the country. Data from Proof, a research program at U of T, which analyzes StatsCan data, shows a significant and troubling number of Canadian households struggling to put enough food on their table. Their findings, along with reports like food banks, paint a picture that's clearer than anything we could imagine. More and more Canadians cannot afford adequate, nutritious food. This is not a regional issue. This is a national crisis. And it's not just food people are increasingly deferring bill payment. It's not just food. People are increasingly deferring bill payments, pushing off necessary expenses just to make ends meet. Sources like Canadian Debt Relief, referencing data from Equifax, indicate a rising trend of Canadians missing bill payments. This isn't a sign of a healthy, robust economy. It's a clear sign of a system under immense strain, forcing everyday Canadians into impossible trade-offs. And while Canadians are facing these pressures, what's the perception of our political leaders? It often feels like economic stagnation is the painful reality for us on the ground, while political vacation is the narrative being spun from Ottawa. There's a profound sense of disconnect. We hear rhetoric about a strong economy, about job numbers, but for so many Canadians, the reality feels very, very different. It feels like the people in charge are fundamentally out of touch with the daily struggles of ordinary Canadians. And that's where the pain really sets in, isn't it? Because if you're feeling this pressure, if you're struggling to keep up, I want to be absolutely clear about something. You are not broken. The system is. For too long, individuals have been made to feel like their struggles are personal failures. You're not working hard enough. You need to budget better. But when over half of the country is struggling to make ends meet, when real wages are flat and essential costs are skyrocketing, it's not an individual problem anymore. It's a systemic one. This series, The Squeeze, is about pulling back the curtain on why life in Canada feels impossible in 2025. This isn't about finger pointing. It's about understanding the forces at play, the numbers behind the headlines, and most importantly, why Canadians are feeling the way that they are. In part 2 next Friday, we'll dive deeper into how the job market itself is contributing to this squeeze. Is working harder even worth it anymore? Don't miss it. If you're tired of being lied to, I encourage you to subscribe.